and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I'll be crafting with some digital stamps. These two are from the Greeting Farm and they're actually both free. So I was inspired by all of the cards that I'm seeing across social media that have been created for to show, our support for the people of Ukraine and everything that they're going through right now. There's a hashtag, if you aren't already familiar, it's hashtag cards for Ukraine. And it's just a way for our community to put out positive energy and show our love and support for everybody who is affected by the war in Ukraine. And so lots of companies have also made available free digital stamps. I have a blog post which I'll leave in the description box below because I found a few that it's by no means a complete list of images, free images that you can use, but it's the ones that I came across. And so if you'd like to show your support, don't feel like you have to rush out to buy anything specific. You can just download these free digital stamps, print them out as I have, and here what I'm doing is I'm actually combining two digital stamps from the Greeting Farm. One, this one here is the one that they just released to support Ukraine and support crafters who want to show their support for Ukraine. And the other one with the two girls is called Together. And I thought that I would combine them to create one image. And that's what I'm doing here. So my canvas is a 5.5 wide by 4.25 tall. That's the standard US A2 size card. In this orientation, it will be a landscape top folding card. And I'm using the lasso tool in Photoshop to clip out different portions of this particular Digis so that I can incorporate it with the Together Digi stamp to create an altogether different design. And the definitely check the terms of use of any company that you're working with to see what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. For the most part, if it's just for personal use, you're just making a card to share, to send, etc. You can definitely do these manipulations and work with different images and combine them. So you may, if you are already familiar and have digital stamps, you may already have something in your stash that you can craft with. And certainly if you don't, then maybe check out some of the freebies that I have linked to in my blog post. And with the Cards for Ukraine movement, there's really only two characteristics that you may want to incorporate onto your projects. The first is the color blue and yellow. Those are the colors of the flag of Ukraine. And the second is incorporating the sunflower. And that's because the sunflower is the national flower of Ukraine. And so combine these things, these colors and images have taken on some special meaning and are a show of solidarity, support, hope, peace, and courage, as the stamp from the Greeting Farm showed. And so that's what I'll be doing, is to incorporate the two colors, blue and yellow, onto my card. And I thought the addition of the sunflowers below the "We Stand Together" banner that these girls are holding is the perfect sort of sentiment to show my support for the people of Ukraine and everybody affected. There are people who are not Ukrainian who are also affected by the tragedy that's going on currently, and so this is just my way of putting positive energy out there, positive thoughts, and hopefully the conflict in Ukraine will come to a peaceful resolution soon. I wanted to also talk a little bit about my coloring. So I'm using color pencils today, and I didn't think about it ahead of time. So unfortunately, I'm coloring onto super smooth paper, which is fantastic for alcohol marker coloring, but color pencils tend to perform better with a toothier paper, or paper that has more grain, more texture to it, and that's because the texture will really grab onto the pigment and the wax that's in the color pencil, and it allows you to build up a lot of layers. But it's still possible if you don't need to go out and buy anything special or specific, because you can get good results coloring onto super smooth paper as well. The trick really is to, and this would be how I would approach coloring onto color pencil paper too, just going in lightly to start. Don't push down too hard, and especially in the beginning, so that you can mix your colors. You can add some shadow, leave some areas for highlight. So you can see I'm going on really lightly. You can still see a lot of the white paper show through in my first 2-3 layers. And then when I add my final pass of color, I will burnish. So meaning I'll actually push down rather firmly on my color pencil, and the goal being to smooth out the color, block out all of the white of my paper that's showing through, and really get it as solid as possible. And so after you've burnished, especially if you are working on a toothier paper, you're going to be flattening your paper quite a bit, and so it will become harder, if not impossible, to add a lot more layers on top of that. So that's why burnishing is something you want to leave to last. I burnish with on this project, I'm burnishing with the lightest color that I color that section with. But sometimes I also burnish with my white color pencil, and sometimes I burnish with a Caran d'Ache burnishing pencil, which is basically colorless. So you have a lot of options, and on top of that, there are solvents that you can use to burnish with as well. So lots of different options. One of the nice things about working with color pencils is that it's very forgiving, especially working with a lot of light colors. So with my browns, I have some browns that are a little bit more cool toned, and I have some browns that are a little bit warmer in tone. And so I'm mixing the two. So the cool tones I'm kind of using to just build up a foundation of shadow, but I'm going over with some lighter tones just to add some variability, especially in the hair, because hair has it's not all one solid color, especially not only when light hits it, but just naturally you're gonna have some strands of hair that are a little bit lighter in color and some strands of hair that are a little bit darker in color, and so it's nice to be able to kind of layer on different shades, different colors. And to do that, you want to start off very, very light-handed with your coloring, and get it to the point where you're liking where it is before you go in with a firmer touch to do that final burnishing. And what I thought would be cute is for these girls not only to dress in blue and yellow to show their support for Ukraine, but when I was a kid, I don't know if they still have this or something similar on the market, but they used to have this product that you can just kind of swipe into your hair to give yourself highlights, temporary highlights. And so I thought it would be cute to have these girls kind of highlight a lock of their hair in excuse me, in blue and yellow as well. I just thought it would be really cute to and something just a little different to color in these girls. And so that's one of the nice things with color pencils as well. I have a broader range of colors. I know on this particular image that I'm coloring in, I'm trying to stick to a pretty limited palette just to make everything look cohesive. So I'm using the same blue on the shirt as I am in that sort of lock of hair with the girl on the left, and similarly the yellows are the same between the sunflower, the t-shirt, and then the lock of hair on the girl on the right. But color pencils are really fantastic to get into because they're not a super expensive medium, and so I do have a lot of colors to choose from, especially compared to my Copic markers, which I'm just very slowly building up a collection of. And Prismacolors are fantastic in that way because they are a very affordable option, but also very high performing. Lots of artists use it as their brand of choice in color pencils. And so even though it's affordable, you're not sacrificing quality. And this panel here is a watercolor panel that I wasn't sure if it was 100% dry yet, so I did take my heat gun to it, and that's really kind of the only reason why there was a little bit of warping. But it's just solid blue on the top and yellow on the bottom to represent the flag of Ukraine. And I used my Jane Davenport mermaid markers, and I think for the bottom I mixed in a little bit of one of my Aquaflow pens from Tonic, just to get it to the shade yellow that I wanted. And to prevent the blue and yellow from mixing in the center and bleeding into each other, what I did, because I like to work wet on wet, where I wet the paper before applying the color. And so what I did was I covered half of my watercolor panel and spritzed the exposed half, because watercolor won't move as fluidly on dry paper as it does on wet paper. That by leaving a section of the paper dry, it helps to kind of slow down the movement so that you can control it better. And then, as I was sort of manipulating the panel, I wish I had done this on camera, but I wanted to do it in advance so that it would dry. But I also just tilted the paper in such a way that it was flowing, the wet watercolor was flowing away from the center line. But I did definitely find it helpful to leave a dry edge. That way, as I'm tilting, it won't just accidentally start to bleed down to the lower half. And I did turn the paper around and did the same on the yellow portion. And when you see me opening my card and burnish, what I'm doing is I'm burnishing from the back side so that I don't scrape or scar the top layer. Often I'll either do that, burnish from the inside of the card, or lay down a paper towel to burnish. But if it's a wide area, I do like to just open the card and burnish from the back. So that's my final card. I did, you'll see in the final picture, outline the heart with a black pen just to give it a little bit more definition, but otherwise that's my card complete. So if you'd like to show your support for Ukraine by crafting and sharing your crafty makes, be sure to include the hashtag cards for Ukraine. Pop on over to the card auction to see if maybe there's something you'd like to bid on. That Facebook group has also identified charities that are legitimate, that will lend support directly to Ukraine. And so all of your donations, all of your bids will go directly to those charities. Or if you are curious and prefer, you can always make a direct donation to those charities as well. Thanks so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.